Heartily, how's it going? Let's get started. There we go. We got car bricks here on the background. Um, so that's cool. That's something to be cool, happy about. My son is eager to play it, Redstone. So whenever that happens, I'll be sure and get a recording of it if I don't stream it. Does it's not controller support, right? All right, let's do this. So we're in the middle of a kind of a significant refactor.
So you're just an old hacker like me, but disguised as an idiot.
We're sick. We're sick in the middle of this refactor. Sick as a stick. So branch and lumber have add branch. It calls branch lumber. Neighbor 2, and we append. Okay. And then how do we get it so that we have the angle, etc. Now, see, we're branching lumber. Okay, here's where we go. Neighbor 2 is a resource array of resource lumber. These are resource branches. These are all branches here. Branches says an array. Export of an array. Neighbor 2, export var branches. Get rid of neighbor 2. Neighbor 2, we're going to say branches pin. Okay. That's a little bit better. Neighbor from. So these are all the lumber. Okay, and then this is the buttons to do to add to the branches. So these kind of go together. Okay. Radius is not an export. It is a calculated value. Length and width. Branch lumber, and then we have, lastly, this is resource lumber, so if it's a branch, this is the weird thing, a branch is inheriting lumber, which makes sense. And then, you know what? No, it itself is lumber, therefore we don't need that. So then over here, extensions, this is where things get really hairy. Let's try and get things rolling with what we've got here, just with adding the base. Everything is broken now. Everything in my code is now desperately in need of a refactor. We're doing all this again so we can just save a branch, load it in, and start cloning branches. That's what we're headed towards. The whole reason we're doing this is to be able to design a tree quickly so we can get back to playtesting everything, all the new systems that we have, essentially. Everything's there. We have all these things, and we have to kind of glue them back together. So that's what we're working on. How's it going, Hartley? How you doing, man? Get down with the sickness. Jacob, how you doing? Come on, get down with the sickness. Q free. Free me. Just dorking around today. How you holding up? I'm all right, man. I really want to work on like Norse punk, or what we'll codename Norse punk. But it's 70 degrees outside. I'm gonna take my top off and let these puppies breathe. Yeah, oil them up, lather up. We might go out to the garden later today, second, and kind of prep it, even though it's way early for it. But the weather's gonna get warm so fast. But we're gonna kind of get the soil ready and everything, prep it. There's like a million tubers that are in the fucking soil. This last year we cleared it out and then kept finding tubers, and so we're probably gonna find more again this time. But every year it'll get a little bit better. But the whole thing was like a bunch of like tuber plants. So, but it's a great spot for a garden. Boobers and tubers. Booberth and tubers. Resource lumber. Let's just see what happens if we have an export that is just a random piece of lumber. And what happens if we delete it? Let's learn a bit here. What are our expectations? Our expectations is that a Q free would happen. Lumber. Resource lumber. Our expectation is such that now, is it totally busted because of everything? It's totally busted because of everything. Let's close everything out, find out what it is. Since our LSP is already broken this morning. Lovely. Connection refused. Brah. Let's close and reopen Gadoot. See if maybe we had two Gadoots open. You can work on Norse Punk. Can work on your mom. That's what I can do. No errors. So parse error on game. Tree editor. Jack shit here. Let's close it out. Reopen. I guess if I just run tree editor, I would see some errors. So let's do that. 127. Blah, blah. Two match statements here. We're for some reason on the same line. We don't have types anymore to iterate on. Guys, I'm sorry about yesterday. Most of all, I'm sorry I used the word pussy to describe the Republicans. That's an insult to women. And so I apologize for that. Everything else I stand by. That's the one thing I'll redact. I apologize for that. I don't feel like it's a good insult anymore. You know? It's more to get under the collar. Said you want to work on the other game, but you couldn't. Why not? I don't want to do it on the stream. I want to shadow drop some sort of playable version of it with the new stuff I've been talking about with you and Jacob and everybody, Greg. So I'm working on it. I'm about 20% complete on a rewrite. I'm porting the whole thing over to GDScript from when I moved it to C#. I'm working on a game. I did spend 2 hours making a rope bridge generator in Blender, but it works so it wasn't for naught. Nice. Very nice. 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 Hey, we should do that for a follow sound. Nice. All right, guys. Let's get that one going. I'll download I'll commit a crime and download a video off YouTube. That's our culture. We have to sell it back to you. What do you think you own memes? They're ours. Yes, there are rope bridges. We built this rope. YouTube DLP. Paste. Oh, we just want to do audio only, bro. How do you do audio only YouTube DLP? Any bros remember? Is it -X? Something like that, right? I have committed a crime under the DMCA. Let me clip back for you. I mean, if I ever get any of it done and I don't give up, I'm telling myself I need one full playable level and I'll fall in love again. Dude, if you were in Godot, I would say toss it my way. Let me take a look at it. I feel like Greg, we're gonna find out. It's gonna be like 2 years, and then we're gonna finally work together, and we're gonna be like, oh my god, why weren't we doing this? That's my prediction. Didn't seem to download all the way. Move to trash. .opus. What the hell's .opus? It did not like that. Can always work in Unreal. That's the problem with engines. But not levels of quest. Yeah. I feel like if someone else is like, I worked on this and I got this thing done. And then it's like, oh, cool, that's cool. Okay, I'll work on this. And I'll do this. And then so on and so forth. I feel like that's the ping-ponging thing where it suddenly becomes like it's like synergy, to use a corporate term. I've got to synergize. Here's Audacity. Synergize. Synergy. So then we have all this transform shit. This is all going to change. There's nothing about extents or anything, extension of branch. So what we do is we test the type itself, which means we have to use an if statement. So then it's resource lumber. And then in this case, if resource lumber is resource lumber, or it is, else if LF resource lumber is resource branch. Go like that. And these if statements need to be on the outside, like this. I'll get there. One level is all I need. You can do it. Focus on that, dude. Focus on that. You got it. Do you have like a go-to album that's like your get psyched album? Mine is, we could do, a classic for me would be to go to, something like, where are we inside? If from, okay, I see. Okay, so then this can go in like that. Okay. But also, I don't want to rebuild it in Godot because Unreal's physics are great and the whole game is physics. Right. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of, for what I want to do here, I'm at the wall with I'm basically stuck with the parameters I'm getting from Jolt for a key part of my game. So if I want to go further, then I have to go back to Godot physics and then fix up a bunch of stuff. But Godot has already said, hey, we're moving over to Jolt. So it's like, why would I do that if they're going to, so on and so forth. They've made it the primary, which I think was, it's too early for that. They're way too early for that shit. That they really need, they need to use minor releases more. And I mean, I guess it is a major release, so I guess you just stay with the minor. Like, you stay with the minor, like, I guess what I'm saying is they keep switching minor releases so often with things where it's like you can't stay on a minor release and continue to get updates. And that's what I think should change. Because it in some ways, I imagine for some people, it feels like quicksand. It's not as bad as coding for something on Apple. But I think the Jolt, and I get that you can switch back to Godot, right? You can choose Godot physics and nothing's the wiser, and that's fine. But I just feel like this move to Jolt is the default. It's too early for that. I don't know how that happens. I'd like to see the conversation on that. I should look at it sometime. I just imagine going to investors and saying, "Sorry, my butthole made me miss the milestone, guys." Publisher's like, "What's going on?" You just send him a picture. Just be like, "This." And they're like, "Ah, understood." Understood. Understood. Okay, we're back in business. They would have an 8x10 glossy of my rubber banded cornhole in a second. Jesus Christ, man. What is the original surgeon? Has there been a conversation between you and them about, hey guys, you kind of screwed up here, huh? Do I get like some parfait or something? Like, what do I get out of this? This stuff just happens. Shit happens. Shit happens. All right. So is there no coiffre on he was sponsored by Butthole Wound Drains LLC. Big butthole, man. Big butthole got its talons on poor Greg. Q-free is a node. A node. There's something on resource that tells me we're going to go away. Signals are changed. No, we are ref counted. We can unref. We don't want to do that. So we have nothing to tell us we're about to go away. It's not my surgeon's fault. It's my body's. Have you tried talking to your body? Been like, what's up, dude? What are we doing here? I got to show a clip from Make Some Noise.
Please.
Here we go. It's funny, I promise.
Sir.
Daddy.
No.
He explicitly asked me to call him that before.
I did not.
It says right here,
Yeah.
Sam equal daddy. I don't know.
Mine says Zaddy. Yeah, mine says Zaddy.
A YouTuber welcomes viewers while losing a lot of blood.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing absolute makeup tutorial while I'm on my period. And I bet you didn't see that coming, Sam.
Why am I the antagonist?
It's so good.
Women do this kind of stuff all the time. I'm losing a lot of blood right now.
Well, I mean, succinct.
Touche, right?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm your antagonist today, and that's fine. So far, you're jumping
But you
through.
didn't consider that, like that point of view.
It's so crazy how you didn't even consider it.
Lisa.
Yeah, she's hilarious. My son broke my microphone yesterday, guys. I'm still trying to fix it. He has a haircut now. He looks super he looks like he's going to ask you for your vote. Do I have your vote in November?
Shut up and take my money.
Tom Millman, thank you for the gift or for the sub. I appreciate it, man. Always here, silent watcher, the Batman of the chat. Dun 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 dun. Gonna do a new jam next week, and I'm working on Fabled Footy Has Been Neglected in the mental preparation. Dude, jams are like and then there's this like, do I really want to do this to myself? Can I handle this right now? Can I get through this? You know, it's like a big thing. All right, so add base, we got some errors. Tree editor 96, lumber piece on base object type, 96. 96, lumber piece append resource lumber. Invalid access to property or key, lumber piece. Tree resource, lumber piece. Oh, that's right, we have the whole tree resource thing. Dude, that can go away. Run away. Run away if you want to survive. Got to break free. Oh, just run away. Better break free. Whoa. Yeah, I'm excited, but it's going to be a lot. You can do it. You'll win another fucking jam. Congratulations ahead of time. Son of a bitch. Run away, run away, run away. All right, let's see. So we have tree. That's what we're going to save. A hip, hop, a hibby to the hip, hip, hoppy. You don't stop a rockin' to the bang, bang, boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogity bee. Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. Do. Gonna try to move your feet. Do. Bang, bang, boogie, say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogity bee. Have you ever been at a friend's house to eat and the food just wasn't no good? Memphis, Nathir, how's it going? I do want to win a more formal jam. We will see, though. The theme voting didn't go quite in the direction I'd hoped, so we'll see what I can imagine. Mostly for getting learnt. Big learnt. What? What does that mean? What are that mean? What's the jam? I want to be learnt. I see. What's the theme? Have you ever been at a friend's house to eat and the food just wasn't no good? D2 Jam, still voting on the ones I was hoping for fell off. I see. I see. What's left on the... What one were you hoping for? Tactical Masterpiece? You're like, all right, say no more. You're like, dang it. Tactical Masterpiece. I got a pounding headache, guys. I'll be right back. I'm going to go drug myself. Stay off of drugs. Keep school. But yeah, stuff like alchemy got eliminated. I wanted to do some spell combination stuff. Yeah. Well, be sure and stream it so everyone can tell you everything that you're doing wrong. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And then when you listen to somebody, then other people come in and tell you, why are you doing that way? That's my favorite part. And that's why I just slowly decided over the past years of streaming, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna mute and just decide what I'm doing and go for it. People can interject and stuff, and maybe I'll take some stuff, but nah, it's weird. You know, I see some people and I don't know. It's interesting how you cultivate certain aspects of a. Yeah, it is my curse, dude. Man, if we're ever in a situation, you're gonna see it, Greg. If we're ever in a situation where it's like we're gonna do a presentation, or I'm somehow involved with you in some sort of tech-related thing, it will fall apart. It is wild how often that happens with me when in regards to like, okay, everything needs to work this way. It's worked 1,000 times before. And it's like, 15 minutes before a thing, it'll just fucking Things will go wrong. It's wild. I know my code ain't perfect. Been programming 20 years. Still better ways to learn. I still learn better ways 50% in, but it's not worth refactoring. Oh yeah, for sure. Kind of why I want to do more jams, practice all the elements. Well, jams are really good at helping you determine scope. I had a coworker named Jason who we stopped letting do demos because he was exactly the same way. Yeah, no, it is insane how it works, and that's why I'm always back to like paper and shit with certain things where it's like everything's gonna go wrong, so I'm not even gonna do the thing with the computer. JSON is my favorite language to code in. Nymphus, get out of here.
Jason!
There it is. Got it. It does different ones, right?
Jason!
Nope, it's the same one. I just sprayed and prayed. You hit it. Oh, no. I am a ticking time bomb with current events, guys. I'm just gonna say it. If somebody drops in here to start talking about it, I'm gonna delete the message and just say, hey, we're not doing that. I'm not gonna get dragged into it. We usually don't. No, you don't. You don't. That's right. I think some people watch streamers just to get a pulse on current events from everybody. I think that's part of it too. People kind of shop around and I still cook too much on current events. Yeah. Again, for news, I find foreign outlets is a better way to get a broader view of things. Your country's source of news is generally not the way to get the especially if your country's involved in global geopolitical stuff. Like getting sources from other places is kind of helpful. I think most of us are so used to every other stream where no politics is like rule number 2 after no racism. Yeah. I don't have any rules. I think I have just be nice to each other. But if someone comes in here and starts saying shit about some race or something like that, then I might have to update it for sure. And even that's hard when people bring up politics. Yeah. Real dicks about code. Yeah. It's weird, man. It's weird. I feel a little bit. I'll be honest. I see Wallaber streaming, and I'm so scared he's gonna raid me. Someone could go in there and say, "Hey, don't raid Cricket," because I don't have anything to show right now. I'm so afraid he's gonna do me solid and drop a raid here. Like, don't raid me, Wallaber. But that's also very like oh, I'm so big and important. So I don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Cause then it's like, oh, I'm so cool. Wallaber's gonna raid me. So now we'll let the dice fall, the chips fall where they may. The cast has died. The die is cast or some shit like that. He's got another. Okay, well, in an hour and 20, can I get to where I need to be here? We'll see. We'll see. So Resource doesn't know when it's about to go bye-bye. New York City. Yeah, you were saying. Are you guys going to go to Nintendo World or whatever the hell? What is it called in the NYC? The Nintendo store? Gotta stop by there, man. You still play games early on stream? I've been forgetting for a while, Nymphus. But I've also not been able to stream so much that I'm kind of not doing it right now. Just to sort of try and catch up on my own things. No, we're meeting in a venue where his daughter is singing. She's big into musical theater. Oh, nice. That was really sweet. I saw that stream with her. That was really nice. Do 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 do. He should stop working and go through Next Fest demos. Oh God. Man. I mean, it would be good for research to try and call the shot. Jonas has that really interesting app where you try and predict. What is it? You predict the number of reviews a game has? Was that what it was? Some I'm going to pick up when they come out. Nice. So long as this thing launches in a pretty bug-free state, I'm absolutely going to be doing that. By the way, there's a really good YouTube video from the guy who made Stardew Valley. It's a 10-year anniversary video. Let's go ahead and throw that on. He talks about the early development of Stardew, and he kind of drops some interesting nuggets of reflection. The old walk. All right, Jacob. Walk safe.
Hey guys, it's me, Concerned Ape, creator of Stardew Valley. Today is the 10-year anniversary of Stardew Valley. So to commemorate this special milestone, I put together this video which shows off some old builds of the game, has some of my commentary about the development timeline, and highlights the various updates over the years and how Stardew Valley has changed
I like the
over
Dexter
time.
Stardew Valley idea.
So I hope you find it interesting.
So the problem with it is that there would need to be a large number of people. So it almost need to be like a city or something, you know? So I don't, it's like, I guess it's just about slowly decreasing the population of a town and not drawing suspicion on yourself and stuff. I don't know exactly how it would play out.
Interesting, and here we go.
And so the resources and everything you're collecting are more to help you assist in the murders. Everyone's a suspect. Yeah, and you got the one guy who always suspects you no matter what. Look at this, Sprout Valley.
Sprout Valley, 2012. So this was the original name of Stardew Valley. It was called Sprout Valley, which is an awful name. That's why I eventually changed it. But this was probably about 6 months into development. I had a functioning game, but it was very rudimentary, and I would say much more similar to the Super Nintendo Harvest Moon game than Stardew Valley is today. Of course, I grew up playing Harvest Moon for the Super Nintendo, and so I was heavily inspired by it. And, you know, my first target, you might say, for this game was to essentially emulate Harvest Moon for the Super Nintendo. That was my starting point, and then I wanted to expand a bit from there. As you can see, the pixel art basically looks like crap, but there are some things like the bus there that essentially made it into Stardew Valley.
A run button.
The basic design was
fast.
there, even 6 months into development, and you know, Stardew Valley took 4.5 years to release 1.0. So we can watch this for a little bit. You'll notice how it looks similar to Pelican Town. Some things are basically unchanged, but then other things are quite odd. Pierre's got his daily wallpaper and flooring on display. Those portraits are kind of hideous. Sometimes I wonder, you know, if I had just released this game after 6 months, where would I be right now?
Isn't that interesting? That's such good self-reflection that you often don't hear from people who make it in a game in the indie space. Generally, it's about like, this is my wall of books here, but it's got generally like I think a lot of people in the indie space are just like, yeah, you just do what I did, and it's kind of like, well, how do you know when it's cooked, kind of thing. And like, some people are saying release it early and get feedback and certain things, and it's like, this guy he only had 2 playtesters, I think. He kind of did everything wrong in a lot of ways from conventional wisdom.
Those portraits are kind of hideous. Sometimes I wonder, you know, if I had just released this game after 6 months, where would I be right now? Somehow I don't think that the game would have taken off. So
I'm guessing it's for
look
debugging.
at Clint. But, you know, this was like a part of essentially a training process for me. It was
there.
my
It's
education on being a game developer. I do think there's something special about the naive perspective of a beginner. It's untarnished, it's fresh, it's primal, and you can't really recapture that once you have experience. There's the original Gunther. Green hair in the sprite, brown hair in the portrait. I don't know what I was thinking. And the character movement speed is insane. I'm sure you guys would love that in Stardew Valley. I'll have to get you on Way of the Wind Part 100. All right, let's show you the old mines real quick. The mines are one of the areas of Stardew that have gone under a lot of changes, probably the most changes of any, at least gameplay element. However, some concepts have been there from the very beginning, like slimes. Slimes have always been there. Ladders down have always been there in one way or another. I guess I hadn't discovered the concept of knockback yet. The death sound has always been there. All right, well, I think that's enough for Sprout Valley. So let's go ahead and jump to the next earliest build that I have. So here we have a build from 2013. I've probably been working on Stardew for maybe a little over a year at this point. And it's radically different from that previous build that I showed you. We're actually starting to see some things that look like Stardew Valley here. And I think at this point I was calling it Stardew Valley. However, things are kind of odd. The way the farmer looks is weird. The way he's running around is kind of weird. The colors are now more saturated, which is true to form, but yet that exact shade of Stardew Valley yellow dirt hasn't quite been established yet. But yeah, this version of Stardew Valley was basically more of like a sandbox idea. In this iteration, this was like the weirdest time for the game. I feel like it's like the Stardew Valley hit puberty here. But so you would like actually buy animals and buildings from your in-game menu rather than go to Robin. And there was that farm map you just saw. Like that was pretty cool, actually, that farm map. Now you guys are going to be mad at me that that's not in Stardew Valley anymore. But yeah, it was a little bit more of a simulation concept, I guess, than an RPG.
So this is where, you know, you're working on this on a stream or something and people are like, when is this coming out? Just release it. Kind of thing, right? Like, it feels like a complete game almost.
Yeah, so back then I had item of the day and crop of the week. But I got rid of that because there's this fundamental problem where you can store things in chests in Stardew Valley. So this creates this incentive to just never ship anything until the crop is crop of the week or the item is item of the day. And I just don't think that's very fun. You don't ever want to incentivize things that aren't fun. That's Game Dev 101. All right, you can see here it's starting to look like Pierre's. Starting to look like that old familiar shop. But anyway, maybe let's jump ahead a little bit and check out what the mines are looking like in 2013. So this was the era of the procedurally generated mines. My idea was I wanted the mines to be like Terraria, but, you know, top down instead of side scrolling. And it was this, you had these big procedurally generated levels and you mined into the walls and uncovered ores and secrets within the walls, which I think was a cool idea, but for some reason I was just never able to really make it compelling, and it was very bug prone, which it just ended up being too complicated. I think it was maybe just beyond my ability. I don't know. Or maybe another way to think about it was just that it was too ambitious of a concept for the scope of this game. This should have been an entire game on its own. And, you know, if you've played Core Keeper, that's pretty much what Core Keeper is, which is a cool game, by the way. But yeah, when I saw Core Keeper, I was like, hey, someone finally did it. So, cool idea, but I had to make the hard decision to scrap all of it. And I spent a long time working on this, too. but I made the decision to scrap all of it, and let's see, there's a bug right there. Do a simpler approach, which is the mines that are in Stardew Valley today, where it's not procedurally generated. There's some randomness, but the levels are all designed by hand. Here we have a Goblin Village, an underground Goblin Village. All this content completely scrapped from the game. And I mean, I don't regret it. Just because something sounds cool, just because the idea is cool, doesn't mean that it's going to be fun or it's going to be the right idea in practice. Oh, and by the way, underground Goblin villages are not canon, all right? Anything you see here from previous builds is not considered to be canonical Stardew Valley. All right, let's move on to yet another more recent version. So this one's from sometime in 2014. This was the title screen at that time. I mean, it's kind of glitching out, but it had these weird buttons on the side. And then when you loaded the game, there was this loading screen, which was kind of reminiscent of like The Sims. But I mean, it doesn't look too much different than the last build, but you start to see some more Stardew Valley things come into place, like the what we call the daytime money box in the upper right is there. Willie's shop is basically looking like it always does. We now have the community center in the game, and it looks essentially exactly the same as it does now. I'm not sure why there's this ugly yellow color, this ugly yellow filter over the entire screen.
The thing about Stardew was there really was no Harvest Moon competitor out there. There were the two companies releasing Harvest Moon and then whatever the true Harvest Moon sequels were. And then it was like nobody was doing it. So he definitely had market capture there by releasing something that everyone, like there was a demand for it that was unmet. So that's definitely a route that's often not talked about.
Clint was a little less doughy back then.
But the problem that we're really experiencing right now is that there's so much that there's a lot of stuff that's going to be the cream. And so it becomes a problem of like getting noticed. And so then we get like tchotchke games, I guess you could call them. I don't know how to refer to them. And
Joe Jamart was not yet in town.
And like the tree cutting idea is I'm under no illusions that I know exactly what that would be. And it's like
Mouse wasn't a thing yet. And the inside of the farmhouse was like very static. I don't even think you could move any of the furniture.
Oh, wow.
Which allowed me to have the pixel art look kind of nice with some shading and stuff, but I mean, I think it's important that you can decorate your house. People love that.
Incremental community, 90% of the new games are the same because one specific incremental. Right. And so we have massive I mean, we're in a lot of ways things are mirroring the 80s and in saturation. 1 to 2 hours each time, and I give up for a long time. Yeah, my mom was the same way. I was like, you're going to love this game. And I should have played it with her because I know if she had seen me play it, she'd be like, oh, okay. Because I give it to it. I'm with you, Greg. One of the problems with Stardew Valley, if you're to criticize it, is that the game loops are hard to, like, it does not tell you, hey, there's this thing. And then there's this other thing. And then there's this other thing. And then there's this other thing. It's not clear about that shit at all. So if you're not into the day-to-day of the game, you're not going to get drawn into all of those other things. Um, yeah, and 2 hours would be what each day in Stardew is 15. So 2 hours gets you 8 days.
So
That's
this
not
is
even a
from
full
August
season.
2015, which is only about a half year from launch. But still, there are a ton of things that are like not finished.
And I mean, maybe do you set it up so that there you come to the farm and there's already some stuff that you have to water and everything, and you're about to change seasons so the player understands, oh, the seasons change. Oh, now I got to buy new seeds, that kind of thing. It's also white bread.
Yet. So this shows just
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying.
how much Stardew Valley kind of came together at the last moment. The farmhouse still has this weird protuberance. Protuberance, is that a word? This weird thing, this nose sticking out right next to the door. I don't know what I was thinking there. But obviously I got rid of that at some point. The mailbox is still on the left, so that must have changed that. You know, it's like I did a ton of work in the last like 6 months. I think I was just at the point where I knew it was so close. I needed to finish the game. The finish line was so close. And that's what gave me the drive and the motivation to make all
I think one of the things that really helped it is his music was so good.
these little
I
changes
feel like that was what carried it
in the
for-
last
for
6
some people
months
to keep playing.
to prepare the game for release. I think one of the most notable things was just that the farmer still had this weird, goofy look. This is not what the farmer looks like in Stardew Valley, so that was like a last-minute change, which I'm really glad about because I don't really like the way this looks. Looks kind of stiff, kind of like a Pinocchio or something. Yep, there's the old classic Stardew Valley mines. So that's pretty much the last convenient footage that I have from before launch. I do want to give a shout out to my 2 beta testers, Bexy and Siri, who helped me find a ton of bugs in the game. Here's a screenshot from Bexy's farm. This is one of the first ever Stardew Valley farms. Looks pretty good. Thank you guys so much.
No, I think and this is the thing. The reason why I'm visiting this is because it would be easy to post Stardew, even the beginning. Imagine posting this and saying like, "Hey, I want feedback on my game.
So this
What do you guys think of my game?" And you post this on Reddit. Right? And you're going to get shit on like crazy. And nowadays, probably, along with kind of where Greg's at on the art and everything, if Stardew never existed and you posted this on Reddit for feedback or whatever, I imagine that you might even get shit on for this. So part of it's luck. A big part of this is luck, in which it comes down to timing and a lot of stuff like that. And so, but I think the key thing too was that he was targeted. There was really a vacuum there. Yeah. No, it's still a good game, but I'm with you on it doesn't have mass appeal. It doesn't speak to everyone. And I remember trying to get my mom into it, and she was just like, I don't get this. And she played Animal Crossing. And some of the multiplayer stuff is poorly implemented. Local co-op is bizarrely hard to get going. It requires you to start the game local co-op. Then when you're in the game, you hit a pause menu. Then you go over like 3 menus over. Then you scroll down and then you go to this secret like button to turn on local co-op, even though you started the game in local co-op. And then people connect and now they have to make a farmer. It's even crazier with multiple people joining all at once. It's like wild. The execution on it is bizarre. And it's because co-op and everything was tacked on afterwards. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to know what you have. And I mean, even this guy has said, like, basically in the hours and weeks before release, he didn't believe in it. He had seen it so much he couldn't see it what it was anymore. You know, he'd been living in this thing for so long. He started to just really doubt everything, and he's like, this is like not gonna, you know. And so 4 years of doing this, and you know, he's in an area, he's telling people he's working on this thing, and everyone's like, oh, cool, dude, you know. So I think it's inspirational. I think it's really interesting how you know, imagine doing early, like the point he was making, imagine doing early access with this. Would Stardew have gotten as big if this is what he started with and this was what people saw? And I think the answer is probably no. And I feel like in some ways, unfortunately, this is something that Mr. D-Boy is experiencing right now, where I really believe that his game could be pretty big. It's just now that it's out and he's doing updates, he's kind of got an uphill battle to get to that point. You know, and I've talked about, say, something like Among Us. And so Among Us was out for 2 years, basically unchanged. And then the pandemic happens and suddenly it explodes because it's exactly what people needed in that moment. And so there's timing and external forces that definitely make something big. And to think that you can just know what those are, you know what I mean? That's the thing where, and maybe you do, maybe you make 4 games and you just sit on them until it's like, oh, this is the time. Bam, drop it. Is that the trick? Oh, let's make a war game so when the country goes to war again, we'll just pop this thing out and everyone will want to play it. I don't know. I get it. I never believe in any of the ideas I even made prototypes for. I get to playing them for a month or two, and I'm like, this isn't fun. What am I doing? Yeah. I think that's why early playtesting is helpful, too. It's also iteration on iteration on iterations. It's messy, but the more you work on the same project, the more defined it gets. Then, of course, nothing matters if it's boring. Yeah. And I think maybe for him, if he had more people playtesting it, I think maybe his motivation would have been higher. Tracing chins. Well, it's like, you know, there's the Wayne Gretzky quote of like you can chase the puck or you can go to where the puck is going to be. And trend chasing is, some folks get to be in that. Yeah, for sure. And it's always obvious afterwards, right? Of course this was going to blow up. Of course Stardew was going to be huge. There was a huge vacuum in the market and everyone wanted it. How do you know that? You know? If you do your own thing, maybe you will start a trend. Yeah, or maybe you'll be the also ran that inspired Minecraft. You know? And you could have been Minecraft, but you weren't. So it sucks to know that your game might be the inspiration for the big one, you know? So like maybe you're the guy who lights the fire under somebody else that then, you know, makes some big influence on somebody. I'm ready to have 100 pinball mechanic platformers. Hell yeah, man. Did you played ukulele, right? I know I recommended that. Where you're the dung beetle pushing the piece of shit around, delivering mail, but it's also a pinball game. Yoku's Island Express. Yoku's Island Express is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, it's a Metroidvania pinball or Yoku's Island Express is a Metroidvania pinball game. I did. Mine is different, but it did give me a lot of ideas that I've found impossible to implement. Nap now, focus in just a bit. I just ate lunch. My creative juices just get used up in digestion. Understood. Have a good one. Bust some ass. Bust some ass. Bust some ass. Yeah. Ass. Okay, everything's right on the joints and whatnot. Ass. Okay, we're getting there. We're back in business here almost. Joints, array, joints. Okay, we're not going to care about that just yet. Resource lumber. It's all about that scene tree buildup. But it does need to know about its neighbors. Yes. Resource lumber. So then we have this here, and then we have all these buttons here. Extension, lumber, branch, neighbors, extensions, extension, lumber. And it has to be an export so so that it saves. And this is a branch. Extensions lumber. So we need to group this. Branch. Extensions. Branches. Branches is the same thing. And then it happens twice if I do that. Interesting. Got an incremental game idea I think would be really fun? Dude, Bob, that's very generous. Again, I mean, isn't that going to cost like $1 bazillion? That's the part for me. Well, I'll definitely film a video of the kids checking it out and everything. I'm thinking about how to dole it out to them because I don't think I should do it all at once. So maybe every 2 weeks we'll open one up. and just to keep them motivated, kind of thing, or once a week or something. I don't know. She's too Bob. Super generous. They're gonna lose their minds. Oh, I was so messed up yesterday, guys. So messed up. Sure. That would be so cool. Gemma's always looking. My daughter is always looking for like, I encourage her to pen pal her friends and everything like that. So it'd be cool to have some overseas pen pal thing develop. I use it as a way to get her to focus on her penmanship. One of the older girls. Okay. Yeah, she's 9, if that helps. Jesus Christ, she's 9.
time that one guy at the Comic-Con that you talked to.
Oh yeah.
I just am going through some mail. Papers.
Okay, this is what's doing it. Oh my god, dude. Too Bob, this is too generous. Batman and Darth Vader. That works. Yeah, he's 4. He's 4. So he is on the shorter end though. He's probably going to be shorter or equal to my daughter's height. Most likely he's going to be shorter, but we'll see what puberty does. Which is weird. He got more of my wife's genetics for height this time, and my daughter got mine. Nah, I'm still about the same. I couldn't speak last night. I was trying to call Calvin onto the bed with me because I couldn't sleep, and I needed the big dog to lay with me. And I couldn't even, he didn't understand anything I was saying because I was so raspy. Finally, I was like, pets. I thought to say pets. Do you want some pets? And he was like, oh, yeah, sure. And then he got up on the bed. He's like, I'll take some pets. And then he just laid on top of me. He's just like, kaplunk. And then his whole body's just like laying on me. I'm like, oh, thanks, Cal. Very close. Finally over the hill on this. Yacht of yak shedding, though. That was the term. Two Bob was right about that. Yak shaving, bike shedding. A lot of the, like, it definitely was a bit of that, but it was necessary in the sense that, like, it was wrong. I just didn't know what way it was wrong until I tried another way, and I'm like, nah, this isn't right either. Yeah. Well, the nice thing, too, is I can use it as bait to get them to work hard on other things. And they're going to want to do them together, so I'm going to need a way to figure out how to do it so they share and don't fight over things and stuff. And it's very generous. But I also understand having something like that sitting around and feeling like it's going to go to waste otherwise. So we do the Atlas crates. That's the one thing for the KiwiCo stuff that we do. It's Atlas crate is the ones that we do. So those are I focus on the geography stuff. Those ones come with some recipes too, which is cool. But we don't do the because they are, it kind of adds up to have to do them. So How about you, Em? How you doing? So our load is now going to have recursion. Because every time we come up to a branch, if there's any length to it, we have to do that. Pretty good. It's beautiful here, like 65, and then it'll snow tomorrow, and we'll spend the morning at Chuck E. Cheese's, play outside for 2 hours. Everyone's napping. It's glorious. It's the koala ones. Okay. Let me see what those are. Oh, yeah. Okay, so these are good for my son. So my daughter can help with it. Okay. Oh, yeah, they're going to love this. Snow tomorrow. So we spent the morning at Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese is always interesting. It feels like you're going into a prison. I mean, I get it, you know, because of kids and everything. Your mom, Em. Oh, no, it's not. It's like, I just mean when, as an adult, when you're coming and going, it's like, who are you with? What child? Is that your daughter? Damn it, Em. That's 5 for 5. Oh, God. Oh. I'm drinking my mom's, I don't know if I should even make a joke about it, but I'm drinking from my mom's Cancer Pick the Wrong Girl cup, which is like, I don't know. It's funny how you get like, we go during their sensory Sunday, so we're always like only 1 or 2 families there. Oh, that's cool. I find that any pizza joint, you just got to eat the pizza immediately. The yumminess to hot out of the ovenness. If it's not quality pizza, it just goes like this, right? So we can't have gluten or dairy. Oh, God. You're dietary pariahs for public events and stuff. That sucks. We just play games, plus 9 a.m. is too early for pizza. It's never too early for pizza. What are you talking about? Got to get that real shitty flat pizza with the tiny cubes. For some reason, they're cubes of pepperoni instead of slices. 9 a.m. is a perfect time for that. Then you just scramble some eggs and put it on top of that. Oh, man. There's a guy who does like culinary history YouTube videos, and he has that like, oh, but has the gluten thing always been the case for you? Because I'm about to talk about something you probably have no connection to. There was like this kind of pizza that they made in the 90s for schools and stuff that used to be like the thing that you would get, and you'd be so excited for it, but it was more like a bread with pizza-like ingredients on the top. But he has the recipe. Apparently it was like a standard recipe in U.S. public schools. And so you can, if you ever want that flavor again, you can literally make it. Because it's just not a thing anymore. You know, they were served in like the tins, the like, sometimes they were in like an aluminum foil looking or aluminum style container. Or they came out in like slices, like cubed slices of pizza. But every once in a while, I get nostalgic for really crappy school lunch hamburger. And so you just go to AMPM and you get the ones that are under the lights for like way too long, and the outside is like crunchy and the inside is like soggy and the meat looks gray. Mwah. Instant time machine. Hang on, I hear my daughter crying. I'm going to be right back. I want to make sure she's okay. I think he might be like just kind of built in. I think he might sort of just be built in like it doesn't like meat. No. We're okay. Almost had a disaster. They serve beer now at the that's wild. Chuck E. Cheese, famously a franchise. I think it was started by Nolan Bushnell, founder of Atari. Yeah, she's better from it now. She was heartbroken. It destroyed her for a bit. Blah. Guys, I'm trying to stay focused. Getting distracted. I think I'll put on some of that.
I'll lift it. I've got a bad feeling about this. Oh no! Oh no! This definitely won't do.
Not really.
This would be dangerous.
I love these voice actors that dub these videos. You gotta get hooked up with NHK and start doing dubs of Japanese
came up
people
first,
speaking.
throwing it completely out of balance.
Because you gotta act it out.
If this had been the real stone wall, an important cultural property would have been destroyed.
If you can move this top part to the front, you can balance it at an angle.
It's NHK. It's a
If you
Japanese
move the wire
public
up a
television,
bit,
but
you
in
can
English.
catch it on
I
this
just love
part
it.
here.
But it's a good way to like
see.
get exposure
Let's
to
try
like
it.
spoken Japanese and stuff.
It'll lift up like that.
You're right. Wow! It's perfect. Nice and balanced.
I love the voice act when they dub though. It's so good.
Toshio determined the center of
Usually they
gravity in an
subtitle, but for
instant
certain things they dub.
and moved the wire
and it's
to a
great.
position where it wouldn't
It reminds
slip
me of.
based
Have
on
you
the
ever
stone's
watched
shape.
the original?
We want to avoid damaging the other stones and
Ninja,
lift it
the
without
kitchen
sliding,
ninja. What was
so
it called?
it doesn't damage the stones underneath. Those are the key points.
Here's the challenge. Determine the center of gravity and
Kitchen
shape
Warrior?
of the cornerstone
What was it called?
and lift it up safely.
You have confidence, right?
I do. Leave it to me.
With your ancestors' wisdom.
And techniques.
Iron
You
Chef.
really raised the pressure.
The dubbing for the Japanese
Might
Iron
as well.
Chefs.
The pressure and the stone.
I'll raise both. Good one.
That sounds like you, Em. Did you do these?
Thank you.
You could do this, Em.
It's another monumental mission. Will they be able to pull it off?
Okay, please get started.
You'd love it.
Everyone ready? Let's begin.
Demolition mission start.
First, they pass the wire underneath the cornerstone. The wire is looped around the stone.
They have to find the center of gravity in one try. No room for failure.
It could lose balance in an instant.
Right, if you've never done the genre before. You need I think you kind of have to fake it. I think what you could do is get other people who do this stuff to put you in a studio with them and act like they're saying, "Okay, we're going to have you I found their VO agency." Nice. Em, remember me and let me know which ones you've done.
They carefully determined the best position for the wire.
They're shifting it.
They're adjusting the position.
Oh.
There's one too where they do what is it called? Kubachi.
Toshio has
What's
attached the
theater?
wire a
Japanese theater?
third of the way from one end of
And
the
they
stone.
they have two people who are like talking about it.
There? That doesn't
And,
look right to me.
Kabuku.
It's only
Kabuki.
a third from the end of the stone.
And
Let's trust
the
them.
two announcers are like
Seriously?
narrating and stuff. And then they have this like traveling the world thing where they
Next,
go to different
they'll
countries.
start
and like,
lifting
what are you
the
doing?
stone.
Oh, that looks interesting. What is that? Oh,
But then
it's just like that all the time. It's great.
こっち側来るかもしれんですね。ちょい右にずらそうか。スライ。大丈夫、いける。
Toshio directs them to change the position of the line. If the stone is lifted with the wire in the current position,
Their page
the
says
wire may
narrators
shift
want
to
to
the
do
left
it.
due
Em,
to
you
the
got
shape of the
you
stone.
got it hooked up. Do it.
If that happens, the stone will be thrown off balance.
Okay, so NHK, what you're gonna want to do, let me get you going on this. I would suggest watching a few of these. If you have PBS in your area, you go to this URL here. You should be able to see a list of channels that are in your area that you can stream. You're gonna look for NHK World Japan. Hopefully, you have that streaming in your area. If not, you can use a VPN to spoof your zip code or something like that. In my case, I'm in Idaho, so if you somehow get an Idaho IP address, you'd be able to see this. Yeah, you can just stream it. I think NHK World, you might be able to do it from their website too. Let me see. Yeah, try this one too. You might be able to stream it from this. Oh, that's from Florida PBS. NHK World Japan. Yeah, there might be some of the programming and stuff you can do this. They might want you to be in Japan, but it says they accept overseas. Yeah. I imagine it's not a huge issue for the particular work. If all the recording and everything can be like you're in studio, but it's all remote, and you have the right equipment and everything. If you give me a gig, I'm gonna pee my pants. I mean, that seems like a forever kind of setup. Like once you're in, if you just don't leave, you'd be set. It also seems like the kind of thing where they're like, we got 70 episodes recorded of this thing. You're just going to do it for like 3 weeks and we're going to pay you a shit ton of money to do it. That's cool.
Carried outside the stone wall. The monumental mission was a massive success.
Was a massive
Great
success.
job, Mr. Toshio.
Thank you.
You got it out in one piece.
It's a huge relief.
When you attach the wire, I have to admit, I thought that was the last spot where it should go. But it went perfectly.
Thank goodness.
It was really steady when you lifted it.
I was incredibly nervous. This stone wall is really important to the people of Kumamoto, so I can't be half-hearted about repairing it. I want to take it down with care and rebuild it as perfectly as I can. That's my motivation each day.
We want to pass restoration techniques like these onto younger generations. With that in mind, I hope Mr. Toshio will do his best to the very end. By passing on those techniques, we can restore something as treasured as Kumamoto Castle.
It's like a baton relay.
We'll do our best. Please root for us.
We'll be watching. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so nice to each other.
And so they pressed on, working on the deeply damaged Uto Yagura Tower. The demolition would finally be completed 9 months later. They planned to rebuild it over the next 7 years. The demolition and restoration of the esteemed Kumamoto Castle is building a bridge that spans 400 years, connecting the techniques passed down by craftsmen and the hearts of the people of Kumamoto to the future ahead. About an hour's drive from the heart of Tokyo, we've come to Narita International Airport in Chiba Prefecture. Welcoming over 32 million passengers annually, it stands as Japan's largest international airport. It has 3 terminals. Each of them caters to different airlines. We'll be using Terminal 3 today, an area specifically designed for low-cost carriers. Our destination is Kumamoto Prefecture, famous as the home of the volcanic Mount Aso. Aso Kumamoto Airport lies about 900 kilometers west of Narita, and the route promises spectacular close-up views of active volcanoes. Departure is at 1 p.m. sharp. It's about a 2-hour and 10-minute flight to Kumamoto. On this trip, we're flying on a small jet aircraft. And guess what? You're in for a treat, because both sides of this flight offer
All right,
breathtaking
mystery
views.
solved. Okay, I can fix this.
Here we go. It's time to fly.
Here we go. One thing I know about Japanese news programming is they write the story first and then they come to you. So supposedly the way it's done in other news sources, like in the U.S., is the story is like you kind of are uncovering it. If you want to believe that our news is not trying to use an angle, so to speak. But in the case of Japan, it's my understanding that oftentimes they basically write the story and then they go, okay, now let's go shoot it. And they get people to interview and talk to say what they want the story to be, essentially. It's kind of wild. But called the 9-year-old girl's mom arranged for her to write pen pal letters while she is here to send for the setting. We have 4-year-olds that we can get a member of the staff to write for if the boy needs one. The girls from the girl's mom and the girl are 100% on board for pen paling. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna go tell my daughter. Is that okay? She's gonna be really excited.
Around 1,700 meters tall. We're entering Kumamoto, dubbed Japan's Land of Fire.
Okay. She might not be on. I'll let her know.
Unfolding before our very eyes, one of the world's largest
What time is it in
calderas,
Japan right now?
formed by eruptions from Mount Aso.
They're Pacific, Japanese, but they're way out in.
Visible here is
Japanese
merely a
time.
fraction. Its entire
Says it's 5
circumference
a.m. right
spans
now.
an impressive
in
100
Tokyo.
kilometers. Next, look out to the left-hand side of the craft.
I'll send this now
Mount
then.
Aso comes into sight. This rugged landscape and smoke-belching silhouette is why Kumamoto is referred to by some as the Land of Fire.
Sweet M.
With Kumamoto Castle in sight, it's nearly time for landing.
Okay. I'm gonna go tell my daughter. She's gonna be super excited.
Please fly with us again on the Wings.
From our studios in Tokyo, this is NHK Newsline. I'm Ross Mihara. The United States and Israel have been intensifying their attacks on Iran in the wake of the death of Tehran's top leader. The conflict has been escalating since Iran announced it would launch retaliatory strikes. People holding national flags were seen gathering on the streets of the capital, Tehran, on Sunday. They were mourning the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. A special council has been formed in the nation. It will carry out leadership duties and govern the country until the next top leader has been elected. President Masoud Pezeshkian is one of the council's members. He has released a video statement. It is his first since the attacks began.
All right, she's really excited.
The armed forces of the Islamic Republic
She's the
of
smartest
Iran
girl.
are taking
Okay.
action with great strength to destroy the enemy's bases, and they will
Oh,
leave
we're
the
in
enemy
we're in world
hopeless,
news now.
as always.
Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps issued a statement on Sunday. It said the country had used 4 ballistic missiles in an attack on the USS Abraham Lincoln. But the U.S. Central Command denied the aircraft carrier had been hit. It reported Iran's missiles had not even come close to the vessel. Meanwhile, local Israeli media outlets said an Iranian ballistic missile hit a residential area near Jerusalem on Sunday. They reported 9 people
All
had
right, well,
lost
I'll
their
put this
lives
off for
in the
now. I
attack.
really don't want to
They
hear the
added
news
one
right now,
person was killed
unfortunately.
in Tel Aviv on Saturday. Iran also attacked U.S. bases and other facilities in Saudi Arabia,
Let's see how's it
Bahrain,
going.
Qatar.
All right, we'll hit that up. We'll hit that up once the news is over. I'll watch some more of it. Okay, so we can do the branch. So it's important. So is will return true if it inherits any of the stuff. So you want to use the opposite order of inheritance in order to catch the furthest down the inheritance tree. So if you ever have to do this, if you do an is comparison, do it backwards. The furthest branch of inheritance to the, and that way you'll catch whatever it actually is, because it'll be true for both. If it's a branch and it inherits lumber, then it'll be true that it's a lumber. It'll be true that it's branch as well. So that's good to know. So now we're almost back in business here. We're actually getting very close to being to a point where we can try and get our load going. And if we can get loading going, then we're to a point where we can clone a branch and see what happens there. We also need to get the extensions going to be the dynamic way that we want them to. So we'll try and figure that out as well. But again, we're very, very close here. Let's get our extensions going now. So if we choose, they're both referred to as extensions, so that means this is backwards as well. So we want to flip the order here. So again, we're going to test for branch first, and then lumber. Okay. Are you taking a nap? Are you taking? Okay, so then we add a branch to the branch, right? And if we do this, and we mess with angle and rotation, everything is busted. Tree editor 162. Refresh. So this is wrong now. So now we have to build out our recursive loading. The other thing here that's actually really nice is we don't have to, we could theoretically say, hey, just this one. So the one thing we can't know Is it important that we do know or don't know? If we try and get rid of stuff. So I guess if we... Let's try and add extensions. Okay. So if we set an extension, what we're going to have is the branch is going to do an extension added and extension removed. Extension added emits when the value of the extension is larger than the previous. And we remove if the extension is less than the previous. So we are not connected to extensions added just yet. So let's go ahead and get that set up. So, and this is something we should only connect to if it's a branch. So if we test for true, if it's true that we're a branch, then we would add this connection. We do a test here to do some special things here. So branch, all branches and lumber have the branch function, but not every, but the branch has extensions. So then we say, resource, we do something like this. And we say blah, 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 blah. Resource lumber, in our case, extension added. And we connect. Can we just steal from, can we do it this way? I just do a bind? I don't know. This probably won't work. Kind of wild how much is working, how little rewriting I actually have to do. So if we extend, we didn't connect anything. So let's try again. Go here. M, I wish you best of luck with that. M's like, hell yeah. Damn, damn, damn. Oh my God, it works. Okay. So we just have to change the logic. As you can see, we are all adding to the same point. So we need to extend our points. We need to know what our neighbors are and all that kind of stuff to set it up proper. So we're getting there. How would it would be really cool. It sounds fun. Just to be like, you know, that sounds really interesting. What is that? And like to try to like emulate the, I don't know, something about that sounds like really, really cool. No, if you have PBS in your area, you should be able to just go to the live stream URL. I think you might need to create a login, but you don't need to be subscribed to them to view the live stuff. Like you don't have to have donated, if that makes sense. And another thing is, if you have a smart TV, you can download the PBS app, and you can go, it's NHK World Japan is what it's called. And the other thing you can do is you can it looks like the news is almost over. You can download the app on your smart TV, and then it just, I think it just uses your internet to figure out where you're at. And then you can use the live stream on there too. Monthly, yeah. If some of the programming on the app and stuff is only accessible through donation. What are the specific shows though? Oh, yeah, that I like. Well, the ones that do this kind of thing. The ones that we were watching was called Dinner Time. Back later. All right, too, Bob. the programming. Let me go to their stuff. NHK World. So shows. These are a bunch of ones you can just watch, so you can kind of track them down. So there's editor just picks programs. So that was Demolition Kingdom. That's what we were watching. Oh, of course it's Brooke. So Demolition Kingdom was the one we were watching. There's the travel one. I'm trying to remember. From TV shows to even video games. Yeah, they do a lot of, like, they have a whole learning Japanese section. And this is actually a really good resource where they have a bunch of things and for it. So fingers crossed. Yeah. This might be another one. Unique walking. This is the other one that I know. Somewhere Street. And they just walk around to different cities. So there's Italy. Budapest was one I just saw recently. But yeah, this has the same style. Let me show you that. Somewhere Street.
This river is known for its majestic flow. It's the Danube River, which runs through Europe. Budapest, the capital of Hungary, spans both banks of the river. Its beautiful cityscape is recognized as a World Heritage Site, known as the Pearl of the Danube. Oh, I am very excited to be here. Located in Eastern Europe, Hungary is a landlocked country that borders 7 other nations. Budapest is divided by the Danube River.
Wait till she starts
into
talking to
Buda
people.
on the west bank and Pest on the east bank.
Budapest.
Right now, I'm in the heart of Pest.
$0.25 for 300 words.
Oh, look, a flower shop.
Here we go. Watch this.
There are so many different kinds of flowers. And lots
Now-
of tiny potted plants.
What I think is going on here is this programming was in Japan as well. So this had a Japanese version originally, and then it's dubbed for NHK World.
Look, a tram is stopped over
So
there.
this is more for the Japanese people
I
to
was
be like,
thinking of
"Oh,
heading in that direction, but the light's red. So I guess I'll go this way. If I continue going
But
this
I watch
way,
this with my
should run
kids
into the
because
Dan-
they're very polite, and so it's good for like manners. So, and it's also just like geography and cultural geography as well. And so I find that it's good programming for my kids.
Danube River.
And they come in as a foreigner.
That building
you
up
know.
ahead looks like a castle. Let me check the guidebook. That's the Hungarian Parliament building, constructed to commemorate the 1000th anniversary of the founding of Hungary. Interesting. It took 20 years to build and was completed in 1904. Today, it is a popular spot for many tourists.
Ooh, popular.
The pointed roof incorporates the neo-Gothic style.
We don't?
While the
Em, are you sure that we don't talk like this all the time? Em, it's so nice to see you in the chat today. What are you working on? I'm so excited to hear about any new projects that you have.
dome roof features the Renaissance style.
It comes off
Fascinating.
patronizing.
There are so many tourists.
Tourists.
What's going on?
Tourists. Popular. She said popular in a really weird way.
It's a guard unit.
Conk, they hit the lady.
Their movements are perfectly synchronized. Is something about to begin?
Why does the flag have a hole in the circle?
They look so sharp. Very cool.
It's like I'm getting Blue's Clues.
Köszöntjük Önöket! Önök az Országgyűlési Őrség díszőrének a bemutatóját látták. Egy pár percig majd itt maradunk Önökkel a téren. Ha valaki szeretne velünk fotót készíteni, ezután majd megteheti.
Amazing! We're allowed to take photos of the guards.
This tourist
Yes,
is making
this
out
is
with
going
one
to
of the
make a
guards.
great souvenir. A lot of tourists seem to be enjoying this demonstration. Huh? Photo time is
let me
over.
go forward. There's parts where they talk to people. Let me see if I can find any of that. Here we go. God, look at this. There's like an
Look
old
at all
train
those
station.
red things hanging up there. I think they might be
Here we
paprika.
go. Here we go. Coming up, Em. You're gonna
As I
love this.
recall, paprika is a specialty of Hungary.
Ez lesz a kalocsai, ugye? És akkor kérek szépen egy szegedi csípőset.
Ah, they even sell paprika powder. May I ask what you are going to make with the paprika powder?
Ma gombapaprikást fogok készíteni.
That sounds delicious. You bought a lot of mushrooms.
Ezt nem vásároltam. Ez erdőben szedett gomba.
Did you pick those mushrooms by yourself?
A gombavizsgálóba viszem nem sokára. Ez itt tőlünk innen nem messze van.
A mushroom expert?
Mindig megvizsgáltatom az erdei gombát.
Really?
Meg kell nézni, ehető-e, vagy nem ehető, rossz ízű, vagy jó ízű.
May I go with you?
Persze, szívesen.
Thank you so much.
Gyertek velem.
I will.
I'm not sure. Well, there
A
is it
mushroom
Hungary?
inspector.
Budapest?
I wonder what kind of examination they perform.
Hungarian?
Hoztam egy kis gombát vizsgáltatni. De jó, hogy nem is kell sorba állni.
It looks like a lot of people bring theirs in. Wow, those are huge. She picked so many different kinds.
És akkor mondom, jó? Tehát ez kései laska gomba. Ez is jó ehető gomba.
Jaj, de jó lesz.
Jó.
Jó.
Ezekkel meg úgy van. Ez is egy nagyon finom gomba.
This is
egyébként
tasty too,
ehető,
but it's poisonous.
de
Poisonous?
Van benne egy méreganyag, ami 20 perc főzés után elbomlik.
Great to have a mushroom expert.
What? This is tasty too, but it's poisonous. What? You're gonna have the best meal of your life, and then you're gonna end up in the hospital. What?
Nekünk ezt a
He literally
munkánkhoz
picked mushrooms off a
köteleznünk
tree and went
kell.
home and
Tehát
cooked them.
akik üzemeltetnek vásárcsarnokokat, piacokat Magyarországon, a
That's
lakosság
wild.
számára egy törvény írja elő, hogy biztosítani kell az ingyenes gombavizsgálatot. Pont azért, hogyha ez fizetős lenne, akkor valószínűleg megnövekedne a gombamérgezéseknek a száma.
Protecting everyone's
Imagine
health is
that,
very
understanding
important
market
work.
forces and using the government to actually protect your people. Wow, that's
Thank you
weird.
very much.
Nincs mit, további szép napot, viszontlátásra.
Enjoy your mushrooms. That impressive-looking building up ahead is the city's popular Seychiny thermal baths.
Anyway, so there's a couple
Apparently
more there's a couple more shows like this. This one I really like. I always wonder how they approach these people because sometimes they just walk into people's houses and it's like, "What are you doing in here?" And it's like, "Whoa, get out of my house!" So it's clearly like arranged. So I always wonder what the conversations are like when they actually do that. Cycling around Japan, any of the ones that center around a white dude is not going to have the acting stuff. It's going to have subtitles. But like the kinds where you go around where it's about eating food and stuff, there's also ones about this might be one. There's like children's programming and stuff that need voice actors as well. So they have like children's programming that was Japanese children's programming that they then translate into other languages like English and stuff. So this one might here, this train one might. But there's quite a few where they do this weird condescending voice thing. But yeah, it's definitely, I mean, as soon as I heard it, I'm like, wait a minute, that's totally something you could do. I hope it works out. I hope you hear something. Cricket's finding me work. Okay, so we have the extensions here. We have no branches, but we have 4 extensions. So now when we do the extensions, we need to give some information about where we're coming off of and what our relative position should be. So that's going to change how we do adding lumber. Presently, we determine position by using other aspects to determine that. So let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to fix this. So position Y here is where we're doing it. So if we know that we are, for instance, a piece of lumber that's an extension, which would be, in this case, just lumber, then we could say what number extension we are and then use that to predict our location along the length of the branch. They're currently looking for narrators. That's awesome. And I mean, it might be that they're looking to lowball, but maybe a lowball for you is something that's completely something that you'd go say yes for. You know what I mean? Because part of it is like, if you can get something like this on a resume, and then you have a legit like on-air programming that's international, right? That's pretty good. But I don't know how all that stuff works. Sometimes the amount of work matters, and if it pays low but the amount is high, like if it pays low and the amount is high, yeah, so you're just doing volume. I mean, it literally could be, the news programming is like, for instance, they do this dubbing stuff on the news. So on the world news, they do dub what some people are saying. But I hate to say it, but overseas work is known to pay. Well, yeah, you're dealing with exchange rates, currency exchange. I wonder if you could get paid in yen, because that's doing better than the dollar. And just and then plan a trip to Japan. I think it's doing pretty good. But if you're just like, hey, I'm just going to get a bank account. Yen isn't very stable either, though. Well, they've been dealing since the 80s with some stuff, but it had a recent tank also. Yeah. It's all relative, though. The thing about exchanges and currency exchanges is the relative value is what can it get you in the country versus what can exchange for in the country you live in. So it may be valuable in the sense of holding on to it as yen, not doing the exchange, and then going to Japan and spinning it there. I did VO editing in video games in China, and it was ridiculous. Oh, like the exchange? Yeah. Like how little they... Yeah. Well, hopefully it's none of those things, and hopefully it pays good, and it's good work, and I'm sure there's an aspect of it where they need somebody daily, though, because they literally have daily news, and in some ways it's like almost hourly, because they cover the news, the changing news like every 2 hours. So I don't know how that works. But like, I gotta go, before I walk the dog, I gotta record this guy crying about some horrible thing happening. And then I'll go walk the dog. Okay, so our other problem here is that we have so we can use length, but we almost need to iterate on all the other ones to determine where we show up at. Now this is relative to, if we make it relative from see here we're using length. So here, if we had something where we could grab a position value and we just have our own getter that lets us determine that value, maybe that's the way to go. So position would be vector 3. And then we'd have a getter on this. And then over here, radius is a float. Might as well specify type. Yeah, Em, I really hope it becomes something. I am having a sense of deja vu. Have I done this before, Em, where I've recommended something? Or is this the first time? I'm getting a feeling of deja vu, but I don't know. Lumber. And then position. We have a list of branches, but we know nothing about where we came from. You recommended I voice Lou M. That's true. And then you went ham on it. It's the length of the lumber, but we need to get the length of all the other things that came before it. So we have no way of knowing where we're from, though. We would be in an array of extension lumber. But beyond that, we would have no knowledge of anything else. Here's another interesting problem, which is that would each resource lumber then, like if I went here, let me just check something. It didn't clear. Uh-oh. 51 invalid call. we wouldn't have a neighbor from. Right. Yeah, throw it on Discord. I'm going to go get some food heated up here, guys. I'll be right back. I'll put on some more of the silly programming.
Grass and inhibit the growth of shrubbery.
Shrubbery?
Grass grows from May and is eaten by the cows. In winter,
It's
the
shrubbery!
grass withers and is burned once again. It's a cycle that has maintained the grasslands for over 1,000 years.
We're the knights who say nee.
もうずっと
We
一人でやってる
demand
で
a
しょ
shrubbery.
司会ね。一人でやってると言葉が出ないので牛にこう
No one to talk to, so I'm always talking to my cows.
なんか子牛に今日
Every day I ask the
どう
calves,
元
how
気
are
か
you?
とかなんとか勝手にもう毎日。
Masanobu grew up with his father, who ran a livestock farm. He has loved animals since childhood, and he began raising cattle right after graduating from university.
もうあんまり他のことは考えてなかったですよね。最初からもういいかなと思ってこっちの方がまあ自然の中で農業やるのがいいかなと思って。子牛はやっぱ自然の中で育つの
Hell yeah, let's do
で
it.
まあ生き生きして元気、病気しないです。冬場でも草はないけどやっぱ離すとこうやって赤
It'll be like
で
an
好きなところに
unlockable chainsaw is the
ストレ
herring.
スをねかけないように自然に育てるのがまあ一番ですね、ストレスはね。
何が一番大変ですか？
まあ、生き物相手だもんですからやっぱいろいろ牛の病気だったりとか特にこうちっちゃい子牛ね産ませるのでそういうのの事故とかないように気が使うしまあ一つ一つこう解決していってやっていくとああよかったやっぱやってよかったなと。
Zach takes another climb on the northern rim of the Aso caldera and heads to an observatory that marks the end of our journey.
The mountain biker over here. Beautiful day. Just look at the views over the valley here, over the volcano.
He's reached the observatory and the end of our ride.
Look at this view. It's looking down over all the farmland in the valley and the grasslands for the livestock and the volcano in the background. Oh, it's just gorgeous. As usual, we've had some great riding. You can still see the respect that the current generation have for their ancestors and the leaders of hundreds of years ago for the benefits they brought to the local population and by extension to the current generation. And you know, the respect they have for the history and nature here, while also bringing in new ideas to keep that lifestyle going that their ancestors worked so hard to, to improve. It's been a really great trip.
In Kumamoto, people are still supported by the blessings of a vast natural landscape and the hard work of their ancestors.
Selection from a variety of VOD programs.
Akan in northern Hokkaido is a mystical place shaped by volcanic forces. The indigenous Ainu people have nurtured a distinctive culture here that worships nature. We discover Ainu wood carving, embroidery, food, and folk music. Journeys in Japan. Watch the full episode on
that's
demand.
Cool. Yeah, cool. You think it's cool?
Fermented foods
Cool.
like
It's
miso,
not
soy
cool.
sauce, and sake play an essential role in washoku, and they are made with koji, a type of mold. This koji shop has been in business for more than 200 years. The current owner loves preserving the time-honored methods. She is also passionate about using these traditions to convey the importance of healthy eating. Through the kitchen window,
For this Japan Delish, a Japanese festival favorite, yakisoba.
You can't raid me right now. I'm
stir-fried
getting
noodles.
food. Hang on. All right, I got to say hi to everybody. Welcome in. Thanks for the raid. I put on some programming for people when I'm not here to babysit. Thornity, thank you for the raid. Bring people to the BRB. We get fussy when it's gone. Yeah, I got to put on Blue's Clues or something for everybody to make sure everyone's cool. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for coming in, everybody. I'm in the middle of working on a game where you cut down a tree. I can show you a bit of that. We're in the presently we're refactoring a bunch of data structures so that we can get some things going for it a little bit easier, but I can show you a bit about how the systems are working and whatnot here. Let me go to the Discord really quick. I'll show you some stuff there, and then I'll pull up some video clips that I can show for everything, just to show you that yes, this is a real thing that I'm working on. So what we're going for, so this is showing that we can slice meshes and things like that. It looks a lot better now. I could show you some video of the chainsaw stuff going on. We are going for moments like this in a game. That's what we're going for. The point of the game, here's some tech for the tree. I know this doesn't look like much, but I promise you this is really important stuff here. The entire tree is rigged together with rigid bodies and joints. And so let me show you a video of it moving in the wind. Lumberjacking incremental 3D game recently released. I forget the game. Yeah. So this game is about falling a tree in someone's yard and not damaging the surrounding things, right? So you've got a tree that you have to cut down, and how are you going to cut it down in a way that it doesn't destroy the surrounding area? I always show references. I'm planning on cutting a trailer using video from people who record themselves cutting trees down as like the pitch video or the goal of this is if I can recreate the clips of this video into the game, then I'll know I'm there. The one I always show, let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, this is the one that I show a lot of. So this is kind of it. So being on top of a tree, having the tree swaying around, having to cut down the branches and tie ropes to them and lead them down, having to chip the tree and get all the component parts removed and all that stuff. Essentially, I'm kind of pitching it as Power Wash Simulator, but you're cutting down a tree. Same concept as in Power Wash Simulator, where you're trapped inside a zone, and that's the zone you're working in. But the antagonist of the game is the tree itself in physics. And so you have these different tools and everything that you'll be able to play with. We did build a cherry picker and got that going. And so, but this moment of like being on top of a tree and cutting it, having somebody lead the branches down, this kind of stuff is what I'm shooting for. Are you at a playable demo or figuring out? It's all tech right now. I can show you some aspects of it. It's like a bazillion different things. That's why I'm like, oh, I'd have to show you some clips. Let me get one or two things here if I can find one of where we're at with some of the tech. We have a lot of it figured out. We know how to slice the mesh up. We know how to recreate it back into another physics body and then glue it all kind of back together so it's in real time. You're doing a cut into it. And all that stuff is figured out. What we've been working on lately is getting it so that the tree is this living body that is affected by other forces, including itself. The entire tree is going to be a series of connected rigid bodies. And that's unusual for any trees in games. Typically, most of the time, trees in games are literally just a mesh with a collision body, and then they'll do some sort of shader on the vertices to make it sway in the wind and have that like behavior of what a tree would kind of be doing. But in our case, we have to make the entire thing like a real tree. Like it's kind of has to be like every element is actually a physical thing in the physics body and all that kind of stuff. So it changes the approach that we need to take. But we're getting there. We're getting there, and I'm very excited about the possibilities here. Let me see if I can find a clip of the tree tech here real quick. Let me scroll through. We got the wind going the other day. I'm trying to remember. Let me see. Going back through some VODs here real quick. I should have really clipped. I got to clip some of this stuff. Unfortunately, I've been sick too, so that hasn't been helping. Here we go. Here's some cool stuff. So this was the other day. Let me go back a little bit. I know this is going to seem weird when I'm about to show, but I promise you it's significant. Let me see if I can fast forward a little bit. See if I can find. But yeah, everything's just kind of tech demo right now. But we're pushing towards a prototype. Trying to spend 30 days on the prototype, and then we'll go from there. Here we go. So this is, you can see it swaying, and it doesn't look like a tree yet. I understand that. But really, it's just getting the rigid bodies and everything connected proper. So we're applying wind forces to the tree, and that's causing the tree to kind of bob and sway in the wind. A lot of this tech we're working on first because that's going to dictate art design. So we have to get the tech in first, see what kind of things evolve from that, and then that'll dictate where we go with the design of the look of the game. Because this is kind of a tech heavy thing, but you can see this swaying. This is unusual, right, guys? I know it doesn't look like a tree. I get that part. Not like, it looks like a telephone pole with like sticks coming out. I get all that. Imagine there's other things going on here. There's a bunch of them coming out, and there's leaves and all that kind of stuff. The main thing I was worried about here is just this movement, this natural movement, that if this is like a high wind scenario. So that's what we're going for. Look at that. You never see this in a video game. This is some cool shit, I think. It's kind of exciting. So anyway, so that's kind of the stuff that I'm working on right now. I'm working on a tree editor because we're not going to be using procedural design for the trees just yet until we understand sort of the tech stack, I guess you could call it, of what we're doing here. Then on the same side of this, I can show you the chainsaw stuff and show you what that's like so far. So let me get a clip of that. I got to pitch the game. I'm pitching the game real quick. So all these systems are coming together. That's the important thing to know about all this. So continuing to chop wood. This is where we were. I started the tree editor at some point. Trying to find. All right, here's something. So we're working on, this is when I was working on trying to get it to look more natural when you cut into a tree branch. This is when I discovered that I needed to build a tree editor. This is what started me down that path. Okay. So, yeah, we were understanding joints better. Let's see if I can find a clip of the cut right here. So I started doing a lot of debugging stuff. This is what, yeah. I have better like cutting clips. I just don't have any on hand to just show right off the bat. Ignore the audio stuff. This is actually a really bad example. But yeah, we can slice the mesh real clean like and get it to fall and everything like that. Getting it to fall naturally is one of the things I'm trying to go for. I can show you kind of the idea behind that in this test scene here, where we have the joints on this branch. This big gap here is where we're theoretically cutting something. And as we cut it, it begins to lean and fall. And then once it gets to a certain point, it just falls to the ground. The way a tree branch falls is like a very specific thing. And so I'm just trying to get everything set up so we get that moment of having a branch fall, because it tends to start to break and lean down and then it'll snap and fall. We have all these things for pressures and everything for detecting when the branch should snap and all of that stuff. The problem we were having is that the joint angle and the joint direction was all wrong. And we've understood and we figured out that by going with the direction of the grain of the tree and having everything hook up a certain way, we could then get the net result of what we wanted. But in order to do that in a really manageable way, we needed a way to sort of create a tree reliably and have the same result. And once we have this in place and we have it all going, we're going to go back to, hey, let's get to a playable loop again. And then once we have that in place, then it'll be like, okay, now, is this enough for a prototype? And if so, like, let's get it in people's hands and see what they think of it. And create a scenario and all that kind of stuff. So the tree editor right now, what we're working on is we're making it so that we can create a branch and essentially clone that branch, kind of adjust some of the settings of it and move it. And then we'll be able to just bust out a tree. We're going for a fir tree because they're generally pretty straight, and certain ones, the branches basically grow straight out. And then we'll be able to apply the billboarded sprites and stuff like that for like the leaves and all that stuff. And then hopefully it'll look like a tree. Good enough for a demo or a prototype, and then we'll go from there with getting all of the cutting mechanics and everything back in. The cutting stuff is a little advanced. There's some stuff that I don't have any clips to show for it, unfortunately, but yeah, there's some cool stuff. So we're gonna have things like when you cut into it and you release the blade, you'll see the kerf. So whatever the width of the blade is, when you take the blade and you pull it away, if you haven't done a complete cut or it hasn't snapped, you'll be able to see the gap inside the tree of where the blade had cut and all that stuff. And all that's worked out. I have all that stuff figured out. So it's just now getting the tree stuff to go back into business. But again, these are the moments here that we're shooting for, is being up on top of a big tree. Maybe the winds are blowing and the tree is swaying as you're doing certain things, you know. We're shooting for co-op, and then if the game is successful, doing later on doing maybe version 2 with multiplayer. But with like netcode. And we've done netcode before. I'm confident I can do that. That's not really an issue for me. But there's some good moments here, like, because generally when you're on one of these trees, they really bob around. Yeah, you can see this is like moving a lot. These guys' videos are really great because they really are kind of the template for everything. There we go. There's so yeah, just controlled demolition. And then the failure, even if you fail in this game, the failure is fun, right? Because it's like, oh my God, no. And then you just watch a disaster happen, and then you can kind of, there's a release to it where it's like, oh, I screwed up, but at least I get to see this like awesome disaster porn of like something awful happening to somebody's house or whatever. And then, yeah, stuff like this is all going to be in it. And it'll have the common loops in sim games where you rent equipment when you're first starting out, and you're trying to bid prices and things like that, and so on. So anyways, I'm going to go grab some food, and then I'll be right back. The other thing I can show is just the bobbing. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'll be right back. It's all heated up. I just got to grab it out of the oven. So yeah, we're definitely in, I call this the trust me bro phase of software development. Where there's a lot of like, everything's gray boxed and looks like shit, but I promise like there's something here. Trust me, bro. And that's definitely where we're at right now. I'm still pretty sick, Doddle. Thanks for asking. I just don't want to not work on this because I want to keep pushing through on it. So right now what I'm working on specifically is we have this branch concept. So on any branch we can add a branch. So if I go oh, everything's broken on lumber. I have to fix this. Let me do this first. Here's what we'll do. We'll comment this stuff out because this is what's breaking it. We have no reference to our neighbors right now. But on a branch, we can, oh yeah, everything's going to be broken because I broke that. Okay, give me a second. I promise this is, every time I got this going, I would break it again because I would be like, oh, now I need this. Oh, now I need this. We can add a branch. So then a branch comes off here and then on another branch. And we're working on rotation and angles and stuff like that. We'll get to that here in a second. You'll be able to change where it is and the size of the branch and everything so it looks more natural. The mesh and all that stuff we can do too eventually. We're not worried about that right now. We're just using cylinders. Branches themselves will always be made with cylinders though. But the mesh itself might not look like a cylinder. And then we can add another branch. Now this branch is underground. But anyways, we can branch and branch and branch and branch and branch. And we can change the angle, rotation, and height and all that stuff. But the thing we're working on right now is this idea of extension. So we add a branch, and then we can extend the length of the branch. When we do that, every time we add to the length of the branch, it creates a new joint, new rigid body. In theory, if we get this all set up right, you could shave off one half of a tree and the entire tree could fall over because the weight of the tree is all on one side. That's not actually a theory. I've proven that actually already. But yeah, so you could cut the tree wrong, basically. If it's something where you can't just fell it and you have to like take parts of it off, you could do that poorly, and then the entire tree could just completely collapse over, deroot itself, and fall on the ground. So that's totally a scenario. The destructive side of this, I have two problems in front of me about from a design question, which is, in theory, you can kill yourself in this game. So, especially in a co-op scenario, somebody could cut something and have it fall on you. And, you know, it's kind of, in real life, that's game over. You're dead. If a tree falls on you, depending on the size of the tree, generally it's not a good thing, and that's lights out. So, how to deal with player death is like something that I'm working on in the back of my head as I develop this. How to handle, like, what is the way that we deal with that? Do we just have a Dark Souls screen? You die. And there's just like a tree laughing at you. But since it's a sim game and we're all using physics here, somebody had suggested something cool. We could have a lunar colony. So we can go really fun with this, where you're cutting down a tree in the moon's gravity. That seems like that would be interesting. It's like a whole different problem space. Being in like a space lunar base atrium. Is an atrium, is that for birds? What's the one for plants? Does anyone know? You just cutting branches and throwing it into the... That was the title of my stream when I first started this idea. It was like a stream about making a game about cutting trees. It was something like that. Just to kind of riff off of the naming convention. Will be hippies in the yard trying to keep you from cutting down certain trees. No, nothing like that. I do think that you'll need like permits and stuff though. Like you'll need to like the way we can by design gatekeep certain things from the player initially, so that you have to like, you have some unlocking paths is by permitting. Like I didn't even think of this, but it's apparently, you know, to use certain equipment, you have to be permitted for it, which makes sense. And so like getting a permit to do certain types of like scenarios and so on and so forth, so that you can kind of put a wall behind certain things in a narrative sense, where it's like, oh yeah, you kind of level up your character, you know, you get permitted in this or that, or maybe one player in this run doesn't have a permit for like certain equipment, so only one other player can operate it. And so that doles out tasks and stuff, and maybe you like one person gets a permit for this and you get a permit for that, so that you guys can work together on a bigger project or something. Because maybe doing a permit is like a research thing and it takes a couple of days or something to do. So, but yeah, the idea of earning money, upgrading an equipment room, like initially it's just a shed or a garage with some cork board and some equipment hanging on it, and then as you grow, you know, you have this area that gets bigger, and eventually it's just a big industrial building with a bunch of equipment that you actually own in there, your truck with a logo on it, and initially maybe it's just an old Ford or something, and you got like a trailer on it. So there's a lot of like visual input that we can give to the player to feel a sense of progression. If they like that part of it, where they're like, oh, I'm growing as a as my company grows or something like that, right? So it's got like a bunch of built-in power fantasy stuff in it, right? Which I think is kind of important for fantasy, for a sim game, is to have that like if you're doing a cop sim game, you know, having a reason to pull someone over every 5 seconds is an important part of it. Which generally is just easy, because you can just make up any reason. Always great to be at high school with some presentation by police telling you they can make up any reason to pull you over. It's like, oh, okay. You're making me feel safer already, officer. Maybe don't say the quiet part out loud that much. Let me pretend like there's some like So yeah, we're using resources to describe the tree and the branches and all that stuff. Right now what I'm working on is the extensions themselves are a resource. And can we create an artificial position that we can then return with a getter that is like, in the virtual space of this tree, this is where the position of this element actually is. Knowing that it's a part of a larger system. I think what we might need to do is the getter for this position actually needs to be a function call. And this would be on branch, because branch would have an array of each piece of lumber. And so what you would do is you would say get, here's how it should work, I think. Var get lumber position. And then here you just give it a piece of lumber. So you say lumber resource lumber. And then we're going to return a vector 3. And then what we do is we look up the lumber. Actually, we have to build the position by iterating through the lumber array, the extension array. Extension lumber in for, let's call it value. For extension lumber, for lumber, resource lumber, in extension lumber. So we iterate through each one. We know we're appending, and we say get lumber position, and we give it a resource lumber. It goes through every single lumber that's been added, and we add up each positional value from the prior ones, or we determine the positional value by getting its length, and then we give back the returning value. The returning value would just be a Y value. Every single piece of lumber is projected from Y out. Every branch. That's our grain direction. Does that make sense? And so that was like that was one of the key things about this whole thing, figuring that out. I did a shout out to Thornity, right? Thornity, along with Aramis, did the game about a black hole. Very successful. It's so wild to be working on something like that, or must be. And like, I'm guessing you kind of know. Like, there's a certain part where you're like, this is it. This one's going to be a banger. Like, it's going to do really well. Because that definitely seemed like that was kind of it was like, you might, like, at a certain point, even before release, you're like, yeah, this is going to do good. Because sometimes you just don't. So each resource lumber has a length. If we add each length together, var length is a float value starting at 0. And then if M confirming what we all thought. Length is important. No, it's fine. So if lumber equals our resource lumber, then we return a vector 3 with 0, length 0. That's the position. What are we complaining about? Dudes, this happens all the time. It's a damn LSP. Variable declaration. What am I doing wrong? Vector 3. Oh, I said var. It's a func. Bro, I'm almost at 5. Come on. If length is less than or equal to 5, m equals false. Oh, God. Guys, careful. We're getting into locker room humor and oh, God. So about that snow, yeah. Yeah, we're about to start a measuring contest. You want to join, Doddle? Man, we only got snow once this year where we're at. It's been unusually warm. How many inches? Yeah, how many inches, Em? Is it a lot of snow or not a lot? Okay. And then what we do is, if this isn't the case, we say length plus equals lumber length. Okay. And then we should be able to get the position. And the whole reason we're doing this is because we have this thing with Let me show you. So if we add the base and then we extend it, so we go over here and we say extensions 1, that's right. But if we go extensions 2, that's wrong. Extension 2 is now inside of extension 1. So it's not growing. It's having a problem getting it up. So we have to help it get up. And that's what this function is for, is to help this this wood get up. Because it's just not getting up any higher than that. So it just needs some assistance. We have to just kind of massage things in order to get that wood where we want it to be. Yeah. the grow function. I swear I've never had this problem though. In the entire time that I've worked on the tree editor, I've never had this problem. So it's a new one. This stream is disgusting. Vex is like, what have I gotten myself in? I don't know what you're talking about. What's innuendo? Yeah. Oh man. Vex, how are you? Vex has a game out on Steam. Let me do a shout out to Vex. M is looking for playtesters. M, can you do a link for your playtesting stuff? Vex has a link. Oh, my shout out to Vex is broken right now because Vex changed their Vex. What is this? The real Vex? What happened? That wasn't your username. No, we don't. Oh, okay. Well, now I have to go look up the Steam game because Vex's shoutout's broken. It wasn't always 667, was it? Well, Zuika. Here's the game. It ties into Steam or into Twitch, so you can use it as a... You can hook it into your Twitch chat, and Twitch chat can interact with the games. What's the genre? There's a name for it, right? But it's essentially like a physics matching game. Suika? Is that Japanese? Suika? Tappy and I are vastly revamping our playtest, so the current one isn't exactly super accurate right now. I see. So you don't want anyone new in the current one. Japanese for watermelon, I believe. It's Japanese for watermelon? That's incredible. That sounds really interesting. Tell me more. M knows what I'm doing. I was kind of curious if Connie's Twitch is a viable starting point for Twitch chat. Connie's yeah, Connie's stuff is great. The API stuff that Connie's developed for yes, no, it's very good. Now, the reason why it might not be is that it does require you, as the user of the software that you would develop for it, to know how to go to the Twitch developer side of things, create an access code and all that stuff. You can completely bypass that by setting up your own OAuth server and everything like that. And I don't know if Connie's stuff can hook into something like that. But otherwise, if you're okay with having the user have to go through these steps of like logging into Twitch Dev, creating a key, pasting it in and all that stuff. Otherwise, if you do have OAuth set up somewhere for your app, but then you always have to have that OAuth server running, right? So, but no, it's really good. Casper, how's it going? The docs and everything, like and I talked to Connie about it, and they admitted that there was a little bit of AI for the docs, but it's wonderful. The documentation's great. It's really good. It's like solid. Not that they admitted. I just asked. I was like, man, your docs are amazing. Gift add-on for Twitch at the moment. Currently rewriting some Twitch stuff. Steam overlay. Let's take a look. Oh, that's cool. That's cool too, using GDScript for plugins. That's cool. Got it from his Git repo Vex. Oh no, I'm just using it. Every Twitch chat thing I've done is I use the path I'm not supposed to. Well, it's mainly so the cautionary thing that I'm saying is that for developing a Twitch app, you get a key and all that stuff, but the way that it's supposed to work is that you use OAuth for people to then use the app. And that's a lot to set up. I've done it before, but you have to maintain a server that's always running. And so you could still build an app using Connie's. It's just within the app, you'd have to have directions of like, hey, person, you got to go to dev Twitch and you got to go here and you got to click this button to create a new app and you got to say it's this kind and then you got to copy this code and you got to paste it into this app here. And then if you delete that and you forgot about it, then you got to do it again, that kind of thing. If you use OAuth, then you just constantly are refreshing the key for them. Yeah, but OAuth is a nightmare, and OAuth requires that you maintain a server running. Yeah, you need your own callback server running. That's something that I do want to work on. I have developed a tool, a system, a way of making it so that, because a lot of these apps require that you do some sort of screen cap thing of a running window somewhere or something in order for it to be an overlay. But I have developed ways of hosting an overlay or creating an overlay that you just have a program running in the background. Twitch implements the OAuth, but you still have to do the that's all I'm doing. Yeah, so it depends on how you're doing it. But the way I've understood it is you still need to, like, if you're going to set it up so that somebody only needs to verify the app's access, right? That's when you have to do these OAuth calls, and you have to get a key, and then you validate that it's your app that's getting this authorization and all that stuff, and that's why you would need a server running. That's a scenario where you start up the app and it's like, hey, give me access to Twitch, and then it has a login screen and it has a bunch of checkboxes saying, I'm going to give you all this stuff, right? That's when you have to have something of your own running there to do the relay, to do like the I am this and so on and so forth. Because if you don't do that, then they have access to your app's key. And therefore they could do anything in the name of your app, and you could lose that key, and now everyone's broken that is using that key. So, yeah, it depends on how you're doing it. But I hate OAuth. OAuth is a pain in the ass. Right. And that's what I'm talking about. In that case, that's where you have to direct them to go to Twitch Dev, create an app ID, copy the passkey, paste it in, all that stuff, right? So it depends on the experience you want to give the user and everything. If you just want them to be able to click a button, sign in, and be done with it, then you have to do all that work to get everything going. And then you have to constantly have that server running. So you sell a product to somebody, then it behooves you to continue to run a server somewhere in order for that to be available for how long? Let's get the so we have this refresh here, so let's print out the position. And see what we get. And so in the case of it being a branch, so we say get lumber position. We would need to know the branch though. Uh-oh. That we don't have offhand. So uh-oh. Our lumber has no idea about what branch it came off of. So that works. But that's not what we want. And if the problem is if we have a pointer to it on the resource, we'll open up recursion. Unless it's not an export. Okay, so we'll have a from branch. Or branch from. And then we can assign that. And so every time we do an extension, so here we have branch lumber Extension calls from here. Extension would have access to... We are a branch if we're calling extension. So we already know who we are. You know who you are. I am standing underwater. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. And I eat tacos and I like tacos. Did I mention tacos? Lumber branch from equals self. Okay. And that's not... It's got to. Can you take me higher to a taco place I know? Can you take me higher to a taco place? So this is on setting extensions. Branch from. It's not an export. It won't crash, but it won't save. So we're going to have problems loading now. So we're solving one problem. All right. Let's at least try and get this print statement going. So we go like this. Print position. Resource lumber. Branch from. Branch from. Branch lumber. Branch from. Get lumber position. Now the getter, this is interesting because we know who we are. Oh, but we're going through every single right. So that's why we have to do it this way. Get lumber position. But if we're calling this branch from get lumber position, there's my son sneaking up. He got a haircut, everybody. You want to see his haircut? He's got a little bit of a, say, can you say, hey, Mr. Wilson? Hey, Mr. Wilson! Gotta say, hey, Mr. Wilson.
Hey, Mr. Wilson.
Hey, Mr. Wilson. Look at this hair. You look a little bit like, what's that movie about the Robinsons? Meet the Robinsons? There we go. Now you're up high. I used to be you, little man. You're like my clone. Yeah. I used to be you. Yeah. Not really, but kind of. We would have been friends if I was the same age as you. We would have played like crazy. We do still, though, I guess. Just a little different. Yeah. Don't hit your head. Okay. I gotta get back to work, okay?
No. Hard tires.
I gotta get back to work.
I don't want to play that thing. No. Hard tire. Beep, beep.
I see, buddy, but I gotta get back to work, okay? All right. I gotta get back to work. Okay. Whoa. So funny. It's just funny to me how shy he is. Like he somehow knows that there's people there and he gets all super shy. I think people think he's like nonverbal in public because when he meets new people, he just like he just starts making these noises. And it's like, no, he can talk. He's super shy. Suddenly he becomes like the aliens in Mars Attacks. I'm like, "Meow, meow, 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 meow." He's 4. Get lumber position. If we're calling this from ourselves, but we're calling it on the branch, so we have to tell it who we are. We have a reference to the branch. So we just say resource lumber. That's how we keep the recursion problem from happening. Mars Attacks. Yeah. I had a huge crush on oh shoot, what was her name? Natalie Portman in that. I like the speech at the end. My favorite thing about Mars Attacks, though, is that nothing works. The military doesn't work. The scientists don't work. And also, the only people who make it through it all are the people who care about others. Harold Lloyd. What's that one? I'm too old for that. I'm too young for that, I mean. The silent film stuff? Or was he just... No, he wasn't in silent era. I guess he might have been. I was more of a Chaplin guy myself. That was the weird thing about TikTok was the weird resurgence of silent era pantomiming that I don't think anyone who was young doing it realized that it's from that same thing where they're doing things and they're like, you know, they're doing things and I'm like, holy shit, this is all like silent era, like before talkies stuff that they're doing. I don't think they have any idea that the natural elements that they're introducing into this stuff is literally the same from that same era. He did all of his own stunts and they were real. Yeah. Yeah. Someone made this joke yesterday on Kolslowski's stream. I don't know who that is. And they made a game show with 2025 Brain Rot, and it was they reinvented silent films. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's weird. Like like all that weird stuff and the weird like reactions to like trying food and stuff. And I don't know, just like a lot of the movement and hand gesturing and stuff, it's all era specific from that time. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. I'm not sure. What's the one where Charlie Chaplin eats his own shoe? But it's like black licorice or something. Gold Rush, that's the one with the little boy. Yeah, it's really too bad Hitler did that with the mustache, trying to appeal to everybody by borrowing. It's really weird to think about that Hitler was essentially borrowing his look from Chaplin. And now when when young people see Chaplin, they're like, "Why does he have a Hitler mustache?" It's like, no, it was the other way around. I don't know how much that had to do with it or not, but it seems like that was intentional. Made it go full circle. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, with the peace symbol from Buddhist religion. All right, so let's see if we get position. Something's wrong already, I can tell you that. This ain't right. There's our branch. That ain't right. I mean, it's cool that it's inside there, but it's wrong. Look at that. Okay, so we are getting positions. So let's try and use that to grow the tree. I don't know why this first one is wrong. We'll figure that out. Also, the joint is busted. But we're getting there. So now we know we can reliably get position. 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 So it does work. Oh, position. It's a lady. Oh, it's a lady. Resource lumber joint position. So that's the joint position. How do we set the lumber position? Length divided by 2. Vector 3 cannot be assigned, so we'll set it to position. 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 Oh, yeah. Position. So we're going to need to know position. This is more than that, though. Position. Because we use transform. We use transform. Resource lumber length. This is wrong. So this is what's getting it. This is what's doing it right here. Translation. Specifically here. The actual issue is right here. Okay. Let's leave this alone for now. So we can fix this. Yes, we can. Can we do it? Yes, we can. So the way we're doing it right now is we're using the prior lumber transform, the lumber from. And we have this lookup as well. We don't need this anymore. So this whole lookup concept can go away. I don't think we need lookup anymore. So that can go. Although it is, no, it's to look up, it's to refer to the lumber piece. So no, that's fine. We'll take that. Resource lumber. And then that gives us the actual lumber. And a bunch of the, oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's right. We're using it like a struct. Okay. I have that peace symbol tattooed to my arm. Sure to get some funny looks from the wrong crowd. Oh, croissant. I remember that video. A croissant, croissant. Yeah, I have one croissant. Croissant. What time is it? 2 o'clock, or almost 3. It is the weekend. I should enjoy some life with the children. I'm so close on this, but I think what I'll do is I'll hit this up tonight. I'll probably be back on streaming again sometime after 8 my time. In the meantime, much love to everybody out there. Thank you for the raid, Thornity. Thank you for the resub, Tom Millman. Thank you for everyone being so cool. Twitch dev community is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome, Possum. We're going to head out. We are getting very close. We say this a lot. You hear me say this a lot. But it is true. I'm telling you, the moment that I can clone a branch, we will be able to just bust a tree out. And then we'll have the tree done, and I'll merge 2Bob's code. 2Bob's doing all the sound design. I'll merge 2Bob's code back in, and then everything's going to be broken. Everything's going to be broken because how we're doing the tree is totally different now, but it's a good different. So we got to reset everything up to work with the new tree system. And then we're going to go back through the process of, okay, let's try. Now we have this entire tree. Let's try cutting it down. And once we have that, then we'll create a scenario where you have to cut down a tree in a way that protects the surrounding area. We'll have heights and stuff like that. So if the branch falls and you don't do it carefully, it'll just roll and smash into things and stuff like that. We have physics weights. We have it all figured out here, boys and girls. We have it all figured out. Categories. Let's go over here. Let's see if we can find somebody new. We got a large audience here. Maybe we could nuke somebody who's maybe not got the largest audience. Let's see. Chaff. Never seen this dude. Man, there's so many Godot streamers now. This is wild. I remember when it was just me in the category. Often. Because I'm an old man.
Step through lines and run mutations until...
All right, we'll raid Chaff. No guarantee on quality and of the individual. I don't know them, so I can't, you know, who knows what'll happen. But yesterday I went on a huge rant about current affairs, and so I don't know what I'm saying. See you guys Tuesday. Bye-bye.